Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome all to this session of Bhagavad Gita morning session. So we are reading chapter 12, which is entitled Devotional Service, Bhakti Yoga. So today we should start from text 13-14. Okay. So before we begin, so let me just give a quick recap. No, I'll not go through in detail, but just a summary. So now Krishna is going to speak the qualities that endear, one to come closer to Krishna. So, but these are, from 13th shloka till 16th shloka, Krishna enumerates a lot of qualities. So these are very easy to understand, but very difficult to follow. But still, as a practicing devotees, because our goal is to please Krishna, so we should also try how much ever possible that we should imbibe these qualities in ourselves. Okay, so these qualities basically is seen, in a large quantity in an advanced devotee, but in a neophyte devotee, these qualities all do exist, but in a very less quantity. So, but we should endeavor to increase them as we are progressing in our bhakti. So, in this chapter, we saw that in the first 7 shlokas, Krishna has established bhakti as the best path compared to impersonalism. If you recall the first verse, Arjuna asked, which path is best? Personal, which is bhakti, or personal path, or impersonalist path. So Krishna explains that he establishes bhakti over the impersonalism. Then in the middle 5 shlokas of the chapter, from 8th shloka till 12th shloka, Krishna presented different levels of bhakti. He described progressive levels of bhakti from highest to lowest. So in the last 8 shlokas of this chapter, Krishna is discussing what qualities should a devotee should cultivate. A devotee is supposed to cultivate some good qualities, good character, by which he or she can please Krishna and come close to Krishna. So we can become Krishna's favorite. First of all, all of us are favorites of Krishna only, because Krishna does not have a discrimination. He sees all of us equally. But first, we should consider Krishna as our favorite, because we don't have sufficient love for Krishna. So we should develop sufficient love for Krishna, and then we can see how we become Krishna's favorite. So these are the qualities that endear one to Krishna. So we will go through the shloka from 13 and 14 shloka. Anyone would like to volunteer?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samudukha sukha kshami. 14th also, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, both.
Santushtaha satatam yogi yatatma drudas nishchayaha mayarpita mano buddhiryo madbhaktaha sane priyaha.
Can you read translation and purport also, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One who is not envious, but who is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, who is free from false ego and equal both in happiness and distress, who is always satisfied and engaged in devotional service and determination, and whose mind and intelligence are in agreement with me. He is very dear to me. Purport. Coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendent qualifications of a pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor is he envious of anyone, nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks that one is acting as his enemy due to his own past misdeeds. Thus, it is better to suffer than to protest. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that they
Tatenukampam susamikshamaano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam.
Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I am not getting all the punishment I am due. I am just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. A devotee is also always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirmama means that a devotee does not attach much importance to the peace and trouble pertaining to the body because he knows perfectly well that he is not the material body. He does not identify with the body. Therefore, he is freed from the conception of false ego and is equiposed both in happiness and distress. He is tolerant and he is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty. Therefore, he is always joyful. He is completely perfect mystic because he is fixed in the instructions received from the spiritual master and because his senses are controlled. He is determined. He is not swayed by false argument because no one can lead him from the fixed determination of devotional service. He is fully conscious that Krishna is the eternal Lord, so no one can disturb him. All his qualifications enable him to depend entirely on the Supreme Lord. Such a standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare. But a devotee becomes situated in the stage by following the regulative principles of devotional service. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear to him, for the Lord is always pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Mataji. Convert to Prana.
Thank you, Mansa Mataji. Okay, so here we see, so Krishna is enumerating different qualities which he is expecting in everyone, in all of us. So first, the first quality is what? Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. So Krishna is saying Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam means Dvesha means enemy. Dvesha means envy. Advesha means a devotee should not have envy towards anybody, no envy. So they will not have, devotees are not supposed to have envy. They should not envy towards anybody. They should not even envy towards their enemies also. Like we have examples, like we have many examples in the Shastras. Like we see Prahlad Maharaj. He never hated or never envied his father. Though his father was giving a lot of trouble to him, he never hated him. And even Shanda and Marka, they were against Prahlad Maharaj, but he was never disrespectful towards them. He was always giving respect to them. And even we see in the case of Yudhishthir Maharaj also, he has never hated Duryodhana. Even though Duryodhana hated Yudhishthir Maharaj, he never hated. Even Lord Ram, from the Ramayana, if you see Lord Ram also, he never hated Ravana. In fact, he said, if Ravana comes to take shelter like Vibhishan to me, I will also forgive Ravana. So that's how, we see that, the devotees of the Lord will never hate anyone, even though if they are they are their own enemies. We also have example of Mrigari. If you see Mrigari, Mriga means animal and Ari means an enemy. So Mrigari means he's an enemy of the animal because he's a hunter. So what he was doing, he was half killing the animals. He was half killing the animals and giving a lot of suffering to them. But after he became a disciple of Narada, so after he became a disciple of Narada, he does not want to cause harm even to the ants. He became non-envious to all living beings. And also, even in the story of Ambarish Maharaj, we have so many times we have discussed this story that Ambarish Maharaj, even though Durvasa Muni has created a fiery demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj, he never hated Durvasa Muni. How forgiving he was, like when Sudarshan Chakra was following Durvasa Muni, Ambarish Maharaj was praying, and he did not even eat for one full year until Durvasa Muni came out of his that situation, and completely out of that dangerous situation. Ambarish Maharaj was waiting for him, and he was praying that let my spiritual credits go to him, and let him be free from the suffering that he is going through. So that's how the devotees stature is. They consider, they don't consider anyone who is harming them also as enemies. So Srila Prabhupada is saying in in the Purport, we have seen that. So he's saying that even if a devotee, even if he's thinking that if a devotee is thinking that somebody is trying to kill me, or if the devotees feel that the living beings are envious of me, the devotees only think that these living beings are envious of me only because they are impelled by the Supreme Lord's order. Because maybe I would have done something wrong in my previous life, and the result is coming now. This is the result of my own past misdeeds. They are just delivering back to me my own goods. So like this, like Prabhupada mentions this Bhagavatam verse, Atenukampam susamikshamana gunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Means whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks that it is he thanks the Lord. He will not hold any grudge. Instead he thanks to the God that okay, I'm supposed to suffer a lot, but I'm getting this punishment because of my own past misdeeds. Even though I am supposed to suffer much greater suffering than what I am undergoing now. So this is how the devotee becomes calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. That's how Prabhupada mentions that a devotee is always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. So all these good qualities are there in Krishna, and all these things are also present in us because we are also Krishna Samshas, right? But even though we have it, because of our conditioning, because of our why envy comes only because of our attachment to the things of this world. So when we are materially attached, that if something goes away from us or somebody does something to us, because we identify ourselves with this body, we get into this process of envy. So we also, like, we may hate. We should try not to hate anyone, because it is said in the Shastras, hate the sin, not the sinner. We may hate some bad qualities in other people, other person, but we should not hate the person himself who is having the bad qualities, because person is a soul. He is just a soul. Just like a soul is pure, the person is also pure. But because of his conditioning into this material world, he is exhibiting bad qualities. So we should not hate the person as such, but hate the sin. Okay. And then Krishna talks about another quality, Maitra Karuna Evacha. So what is this? Maitra means, Maitri means friendship. A devotee shows affection to all people. Sridhar Swami says, how they show mercy to all the people. There are three kinds. Like we have our superiors, equals, and inferiors. So to the superiors who are above us, we are supposed to give respect to them. We should never become envious of them. And people who are equal to us, we should be friendly. With equals, we have to be friendly. And people who are inferior to us, we should show kindness and we should be merciful. And then Karuna. Karuna is to be kind to everyone, even to the enemies. We may be kind to those who are kind to us, right? But to practice that, to practice not to be kind, to be kind to the people who are not kind to us, that requires a lot of tolerance. That is only possible when we are matured in our devotional service and when we are able to see Krishna in everyone and everything. So there is a story that we all know, this story. During the exile period, when Mother Sita and Lord Ram were resting in Chitrakoot ashram, there is one day the demon in the form of a crow, a Kakasura. You all know that Kakasura had come and it started pecking the Mother Sita. So in spite of Mother Sita's repeated attempts to chase away that crow, the crow kept on hurting her. So then finally Mother Sita was started bleeding. So seeing this, actually, Lord Ram was resting on the lap of Mother Sita that time. So she did not wanted to disturb even Lord Ram, and she was tolerating this. But what happened when she was bleeding? The Lord awakes, because the blood falls on the Lord, and then the Lord sees this, and then he becomes very angry, and he releases a Brahmastra which started chasing the crow. So now the crow, it wanders everywhere and not finding any other shelter. It comes back to the Lord Ram after flying hither and there, and he will fell down near the Lord completely exhausted. But his legs were pointing towards the Lord, asking for shelter. So seeing this, Mother Sita, without any inimical feeling to the crow, towards the crow, who had given her so much of trouble, she gently, she will take the crow and she gently turns him around, and then seeing the crow surrendering to Lord Ram, Ram, instead of killing that crow, just orders the Brahmastra to just injure the eye of the crow. So in this pastime, we see that how Mother Sita is so kind and merciful even to the living entities who harmed her, and is mercifully helping them to surrender to the Lord properly. So that's how one has to be very kind. One has to develop this quality of kindness. And then Nirmama. Nirmama means no sense of proprietorship. Which sloka Krishna says that he is a proprietor of everything that is there in the universe? Anyone would like to say? We have passed through so many. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So Krishna says that Krishna is the supreme proprietor of all planets. Although he is a proprietor, he does not have any false ego, right? Even though so many planets are created and so many planets gets destroyed, Krishna is very detached. Still is detached. He is not very attached. Similarly, devotees of the Lord are very peaceful, even though they don't possess anything materially. Even if they possesses the three worlds, they know that they are just the servants of Supreme Lord, and the real owner for all these things is only Krishna. That's how it is. So we see how Ambarish Maharaj ruled over the whole planet. He was a king for the whole planet, but he was never proud of his position. He just considered himself as the servant of Supreme Lord. And we have another example of King Prataparudra. He was even King Prataparudra. He actually he used to come and bow down in front of the Lord, even though he's a king of state Orissa, but he would humbly, he would take a position, very humble position, and would sweep the roads in front of the Lord's Jagannath chariot during a Rath Yatra. So, because he knows that Lord Jagannath is not only the king of this state, Orissa, but he is the king of whole universe. That's how he's, and even Parikshit Maharaj. The Parikshit Maharaj, he happily renounced his possessions and post as soon as he comes to know that, he's going to die within 7 days. So that's how, the devotees are very, very, they exhibit this nirmama. They are not, they don't get any, they don't have any sense of proprietorship or any attachment. On the other hand, we see some examples like Duryodhana and Kauravas. They could not even stay peacefully in their royal palace, even after sending Pandavas in exile to the forest. So the people who have demonic tendencies, they are the one who are unduly attached to the land, property, everything like that. But if we claim that something belongs to us, then they think that if we claim something belongs to us, that actually, if you see in a logic, if we claim something belongs to us, it should come with us all the time, right? It should remain with us all the time. But practically, you see that neither the house, nor the land, nor our own relatives, people, our own family members, none of us will come with us anywhere, both during our stay in this material world also, and even later in our final journey also. So it is important for us to appreciate, accept, and practice this truth that everything belongs to Krishna. Most of the problems in life are because of this word mama. We think that everything belongs to us and that we have a right or power to use them as per our own, as per our own whims. Whether so, what should be our attitude? We should always think that everything, whatever, whether it is our family, our house, or job, or relatives, or friends, a devotee thinks that everything is related, is in relation with Krishna. He sees everything in relation with Krishna, and he will only think that he's a caretaker. He does not have any sense of proprietorship. Okay, and then another quality is nirahankara. Nirmamo and then nirahankara. Nirahankara is free from false ego or identification with the body. So one has to be free from false ego. So a devotee never has any false ego. Like gave an example of King Prataparudra. He did not have any false ego, though he is a king of a state Orissa. And then Krishna says Samadukka. He says Samadukka Sukham Kshami. So Samadukka, you all know, devotees have to be equipoised and equanimous. Where does Krishna say that we should be equipoised? In Bhagavad Gita? Anybody?
2nd chapter.
Yeah. Can you read?
That one, Brahmaji?
No, Mataji.
Okay.
Two shlokas comes.
Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha.
Correct.
Yes,
Matra Sparsha.
Yes, Matra Sparsha.
Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha. So he says there, Krishna says that one should tolerate. And then he also says in the next shloka that Samadukka Sukham Dhiram. This is what Krishna is repeating, the same point here. Krishna says that equanimity is yoga. So in that Matra Sparshvastu Kaunteya, in that shloka, Krishna says one should tolerate all the non-permanent appearance of happiness, distress, and also like a summer season, like a winter and summer season comes and goes. One has to accept these dualities of material world. One should tolerate. That's what Krishna says. And in the next shloka, Krishna says one who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and if he is steady in both the situations, then he is certainly eligible for liberation. So Krishna says that equanimity is yoga. What is yoga? Yoga means to connect with Krishna. So to have that connection with Krishna, one has to be equipoised with the dualities of this world. What kind of dualities? Distress and happiness, heat and cold, victory and defeat, success and failure. None of this should disturb us. If you don't tolerate all this, lot of time will go, right? In complaining, quarreling, proving that I am right, you are wrong. Same, we should not waste our time in all these things. Better to tolerate only. Same thing with man apaman also. If someone is doing man apaman to us, just tolerate. In Bhagavatam, there is a story of Chitraketu Maharaj. The Chitraketu Maharaj, once he is going, he is a king of Vidyadhar Loka. So he was traveling, while he was going on an aeroplane, he saw that Lord Shiva was giving a class on Vairagya, on renunciation, by keeping by placing Mother Parvati on his lap, and he is giving class to whom? All the sages, Vairagis. So by seeing that, Chitraketu Maharaj, he is also devotee of Lord Sankarshan, and even Lord Shiva was also the devotee of Lord Sankarshan. So both worship the same Lord. They are devotees of the same Lord Sankarshan. So the Chitraketu Maharaj, he goes and he tells to Lord Shiva that I agree that you are a great soul. I don't have any anything to say against you, but if you keep your wife like that, and you speak about Vairagya, what the others may say, what will the other think? Being so being so highly renounced, you are still keeping a Mother Parvati on your own wife in the lap and giving the class. So people of less maturity, they may consider this as a wrong. So he just speaks like this to Lord Shiva. And what will happen? Lord Shiva, after hearing it, he'll just give a smile. He does not take it anything to his heart. He doesn't feel anything bad. But what happened there? There are Siddhas also there, present over there. They also do not take any offense. Lord Shiva does not take offense. But who took offense? Mother Parvati took an offense. And she becomes very angry at Chitraketu Maharaj, and she says, who are you? Are you a Brahma? Or are you a great personality that you can find fault in my husband, Lord Shiva? So I'll curse you to become a demon. So, Chitraketu Maharaj, when he hears that, he will not counteract. Though he has an ability to counteract, he doesn't counteract. He just comes to Mother Parvati, and he says that, I'm not blaming Lord Shiva. I'm not offended Lord Shiva, but still you have taken it as an offense. I accept it. I'm not going to do anything. I will accept whatever curse you have given also, I will accept. So that's how that's how the devotees are. They just accept the curse. Then Lord Shiva, after Chitraketu Maharaj leaves, Lord Shiva tells, see, the devotees are so high caliber that if they are put in Naraka also, they'll go and chant the Hare Krishna. And if they are in the material world also, they'll chant Hare Krishna. And even if they are in the spiritual world, they still chant the holy names of the Lord. So they don't take anything as an offense. And that's how they are beautiful. But even though you are externally beautiful, but because by cursing them, you have lost your beauty. So then Mother Parvati, she becomes very embarrassed. She feels very bad that she has cursed Chitraketu Maharaj. So that's how they are very equipoised. The devotees are very equipoised. We also see the same example, same thing in Parikshit Maharaj also. He became very equipoised when he was cursed to die in 7 days. He did not counter curse, though he has ability to counter curse. He did not counter curse the Shringi. But rather, he renounced the kingdom, and he went to Ganges and heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, and he went back to Godhead. That's how devotees act. Okay. And then Krishna says, Santushtaha Satatam Yogi. Santushtaha Satatam Yogi means a devotee is always satisfied. He is always satisfied, and he is always self-controlled. He is satisfied and he is always self-controlled. Then why is he self-controlled? And also yayatma drida nishchaya. So drida nishchaya means he is, yayatma means self-control, and also drida nishchaya means determined in their devotional service. So why? Because he is always engaged in bhakti with full determination, like vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandan, kevala bhakti. So they are not wavered by the dualities of this world. They'll, and also they don't do any karma prayas, like hard labor is not encouraged for devotees. Working hard more than 8 hours, 12 hours, 30 hours, that is not there. That is not acceptable for the devotees. So we see in the story of Sudama also. So Sudama, though he was very poor, he was just keeping his body and soul together. And then even though he was poor, in his poverty also, he was able to take shelter of the Lord. He was always remembering the Lord. And later on, when he got the opulence also, he was still worshipping the Lord. So that's how the devotees are. They are always satisfied and self-controlled. And then it is said that, we should also we should earn, we should not acquire things. We should not put our energy in acquiring more and more things for ourselves. Because even Goswamis also, they also, to keep their body and soul together, they used to go and beg for alms for having prasadam. So that is allowed. But extra endeavor one should not take. So actually Krishna is enumerating here various qualities. Each quality we can have one session, but we have to move on. So we will just go to the next shloka. Here Krishna says, Yomat Bhakta Same Priya. Such a devotee is very dear to me. We'll go to the next shloka. Who will recite? Sudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
15.
Yes.
Yes. Yasmano dvijate loko, lokano dvijate chayah, harshamayot mukto yasachame priya. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A few of a devotee's qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way as to put others into anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. It is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move him. Generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear, and when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we see repeatedly Krishna is saying, in the previous shloka, Krishna said, Yom mat bhakta same priya. And here, muktoyas sachame priya. So he's saying that this sentence repeatedly, that such devotee is very dear to me. He is very dear to me. Krishna is repeating this several times. We see in the next shlokas also, he will say the same thing. So it means we should understand, if you have all these qualities, we can become dear to Krishna. So let's see the meaning of the shloka here. Yasman nodvichate loko means by whom no one is put into difficulty. Means devotee does not cause any difficulty or distress to others. Even though they themselves are put into disturbance, they will not cause any difficulty to others. We see the classic example of Prahlad Maharaj. Though Hiranyakashipu was putting him into so many great difficulties, he has never caused any harm to Hiranyakashipu back. Lokan no dvijate chayaha. And he is also not disturbed by anyone. Like we see Prahlad Maharaj, even though so much disturbance was there, he was not disturbed. Why he was not disturbed? Because he is completely engrossed in the smarana of Krishna. So he is completely devoted in chanting and hearing and glorifying Krishna. So he is not he is not minding at all whatever difficulty is happening to him. So we see even in the case of Jada Bharat, when the thieves when the chief of the thief want to give a sacrifice to Mother Kali, one of the dumb fellow, so they bring this Jada Bharat, and Jada Bharat is like, he doesn't say anything. He thinks that whatever is coming is ordained by the Lord, so let me just go through it. And even though he's been about to be chopped off, but still he will not protest, and he never gets disturbed. But Mother Kali, being the devotee of Lord Krishna, she could not tolerate the offense towards Jada Bharat, and she kills all the thieves. So that's how the devotees are. So and Krishna also says Harsha Marsha Bayodvegar, means he is equipoised in Harsha and Amarsha, means in happiness and distress also, and in Baya and Udvega, whether in fear and anxiety, he doesn't get overwhelmed. Such mukto yaha, such a me priya, such a devotee is very dear to me. So Krishna is giving all these qualities for us to develop. So we will go to the next shloka.
I'll read, Mataji.
Yes.
Anapeksha suchir daksha udasino gata vyatah sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhakta same priya. Translation: All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. I'll read the purport, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. If automatically, by the grace of the Supreme, money comes to him, he is not agitated. Sorry. Naturally, a devotee takes a bath at least twice in a day and rises early in the morning for devotional service. Thus, he is naturally clean, both inwards and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life, and he is convinced of the authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes the part of a particular party. Therefore, he is carefree. He is never pained because he is free from all designations. He knows that his body is a designation. So if there are some bodily pains, he is free. The pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principles of devotional service. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy. And a devotee does not take to such business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotional service. He may construct a temple for the Lord, and for that he may take all kinds of anxiety, but he does not construct a big house for his personal relations. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So here again we see that Krishna is enumerating some more qualities. He says, Anapeksha Suchir Daksha. So he's saying, Anapeksha means he has no apeksha. Apeksha means to have expectations. Anapeksha means he has no undue expectations. He is neutral. Suchir. Suchi means to cleanliness. Cleanliness inside and also outside. Inside by performing devotional service, by engaging himself in devotional activities. And externally, how? By taking bath. Prabhupada also mentions this, Daksha. And Daksha means expert. Expert in what? Expert in the scriptures, in the religious scriptures. He spends his time, he knows the essence of Krishna consciousness, the essence of all religious principles. He knows from the scriptures. So he's very expert. He is also expert in doing things also. Then Krishna says, Udasino gatavyataha. Udasina means unattached. He is not attached because he is very neutral. He does not want anything for himself. So he becomes very unattached. Gatavyataha means he is freed from all pains and miseries. Even though there is a pain, like Prabhupada is mentioning that there is a health issue, even if there is some pain, he tolerates it. So he is freed from all pains and miseries. Sarvarambha pratityagi, partityagi means he is not striving for some kind of material results because he is having tyaga. He is having a renunciation, a mood of renunciation. That's why he is not having a mentality of accumulation. He is not doing a hard labor to earn so much money or to build buildings and all that. But what does he do? He'll not build anything for himself. He'll not build some big villa or big like a big house with 14 rooms or 15 rooms or something like that for himself, or he will not accumulate so much of opulence for his own sense gratification. But if he has money, how he will engage? He will actually engage in constructing the temples and decorating the deities and cleaning the temple. Like that, he will spend his energy there, but he will not strive to accumulate anything, get any kind of material results. So, yo me bhakta same priya. Again, Krishna is saying such a devotee is very dear to me. These are some of the qualities which Krishna is talking in this chapter, which whoever has these qualities, they become very dear to Krishna. These qualities endear one to Krishna. Okay, so we'll end here. If anybody has any questions, comments, you can ask. Okay, if no one has any comments, thank you so much for your patient hearing. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu devasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta koti Vaishnavindi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grandaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna, Mataji. Dandat
Thank you so much,
pranam.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Dandat pranam.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandat pranam. With all your permission, I'm just ending this meeting. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll meet tomorrow. Mataji, Lakshmi Anand Mataji, are you there?